Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andrea, and today with our morning coffee I would like to talk to you about my reading of The Grapes of Wrath. I found this in a little free library and I figured, I've never read this. I just knew it was about the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl. One day I was gonna feel like it, and then I felt like this year, with all the recession, inflation, housing crisis, tariffs, and worldwide news that are kind of frightening, this just felt like the right time to relate to it. And I did find many similarities between how I've been feeling, or the collective voice of my generation, and the frustrations expressed, and some of the characters in here and their experience. So let me talk about it and my reading of it. And because I know this is kind of required reading in the United States in high school, if you are watching this, just please know that this is my reading of it. It's not necessarily the correct reading of it. So, here I am cleaning my conscience just in case. Also, this is a temporary tattoo that I got on my way to the museum. So in this novel, we follow Tom Joad, and he just got out of prison. He was put in there because he got in a conflict a few years back, and in self-defense, he killed somebody. Now, he got off early, he's on parole, no one's expecting him. But you can tell that he's built up a lot of hope. He has a vision for what his life will look like once he gets home. He wants to work the land, he wants to be with his family, he wants to rebuild his life. He does feel connected to his childhood home. And on the way home, he has two encounters. The first is him as a hitchhiker, seeing somebody else already kind of prejudge him just because he can tell he came out of prison. So he's already experiencing kind of an otherness. And the second is with his childhood priest, who remembers him as a kid and has, stories to tell or things he remembers. But he also kind of points out his own hypocrisy as a priest and things that he told other people to do, but he himself did not. And I think this is in a way kind of telling us that no matter what happens next in this novel, religion kind of isn't an option. Turning to God and turning to faith as a form of an escapism or a source of comfort just isn't there because of this interaction. I find a lot of the things this priest said to be infuriating. As he gets home, his house is taken away from his family. His family's happy to see him, a little bit confused, but overall you get the sense that Tom is also kind of the favorite son. And this entire family, which is made up of a grandma and grandpa, a mom and dad, two brothers, as well as a sister whose name is Rose of Sharon, and she is pregnant with a baby, and the father of the baby is a flight risk. And by the end of the novel, we find out that every expectation we had of him to be a deadbeat dad is very much true. This is a farming family, and now we have, a drought. We have people unable to farm, which is their income. But also there are greedy landowners who take houses and bulldoze them or sell them for profit from families. So now you have two reasons why this entire family has to now go from Oklahoma to California to find a better quality of life, to find a job, and to find something to do. So the entire novel, in essence, is them walking. You just get this family relocating to another place. But on the way there, we encounter many people, and these people share their stories. And now we have this collective voice of people sharing their frustrations. A lot of them have lost children, parents, spouses to this system. Things that could have been prevented or helped. A lot of these deaths and a lot of these situations could have been prevented. But because of the way things are set up, they lost people, and they have this bitterness and anger and frustration and sadness and hopelessness. And that sentiment is with you through the entire book. And you have this disappointment in two forms. First, you have Tom building up this, what my life will be when I get out of prison, and being disappointed since pretty much day one. And then you have this promise of the future with this pregnancy. You have a pregnancy that's kind of there from the very beginning of the novel, and at the very end, this baby is stillborn. Not only that, but this young mother who has now lost somebody, and she is young, is now sort of a host to this parasite of an older generation figure, breastfeeding on her in this very last paragraph, which is very bizarre. I see these two parallels as being like, look how disappointed we are with what we thought life would be versus what is. There are many moments throughout the novel where Tom contemplates, can you really start over? Because he has this beautiful paragraph. I'm going to put it on the screen and you can pause it to read if you want to. But he says only a baby can start over, because for us grown-ups, you carry your bitterness with you, your stories, the house being taken away from you, all of your hardships that you've encountered in your life get to stay with you, and they're part of your identity and your little memory marbles, to put it in inside-out terms, that make up your island of personality, and you carry that with you wherever you go. But at the same time, he has this connection and relationship to the land and to his ancestral home, and he says, but the land also isn't just its chemistry. The land isn't just its analysis, and we are not the land. We're not just robots or people who are workers. We are more than that. There's more to our consciousness. Humans are more than just what they're able to do and the land that they work, and the land in itself is also more than its chemistry. He says that in some of the most beautiful language that I've ever seen, and I find that Steinbeck has this beautiful melodious dialogue between people. He captures the southern voice so beautifully. Like, I was listening to it on audio and following in the text to annotate, and when you hear the narrator just kind of rhyme whole paragraphs of these characters talking, it almost sounds like an Eminem rap. Like, it's just so it's got rhythm. It's beautiful. And I've mentioned before in a previous video that Steinbeck liked to record himself on a dictaphone and play it back so that it sounds right, and you can hear it and you can read it, and it's just beautiful. The family does have also a few funny moments. They themselves as a unit are kind of funny. The grandma is one of my favorites, because no matter what anyone says in the group, she just goes, hallelujah, praise be the Lord. Like, she just has her like quick retorts, and it doesn't matter what anyone said. That's just her go-to. I don't know why, but I found that hilarious going through the novel. There are devastating stories, like Uncle John has a devastating backstory, but that kind of forms his anxieties and the way he reacts to the characters. And along the way, as I've mentioned, we meet characters who have suffered tremendously, and each story is more heartbreaking as you go along. I do find that this style of storytelling is very Steinbeck. In his nonfiction work or memoir, Travels with Charlie, even though that's written way later than this novel, it's him going in this, truck with his dog, and as he goes across the country, he collects voices from people. And he says, this book is the collective. It's all of these voices combined, sharing similar feelings. I think that's why this is such a classic. It's capturing the voice of a time and place and a generation. And I think it's also relatable. Like, the fact that I can extract some of the same feelings and sentiments and place them in today's world, that says something to his writing and his ideas and some of that humanity we share with the past. Now, the one thing I did look up was the title, because Grapes of Wrath is just so odd. A lot of his books are named after, an excerpt from a poem, and this is no exception. This was recommended to him by his wife, and it's a poem called The Battle Hymn of the Republic by Julia Ward Howe. And on the internet, it says that the title represents the growing anger and discontent among the oppressed, who are symbolized by the grapes being crushed. So there's that. I think that's kind of all of my thoughts and feelings. Overall, I think this is a great book. I can see why it's a classic. And yeah, I will carry on with my regular reading, and I will see you in a future video very soon. Bye!